Pack your bags, get your passport. We're headed to Croatia and the Dalmatian Coast. Hi, I'm your host, Teresa Belcher, founder of Honeymoon Islands. And today I'm excited because we're going to go to Croatia and the Dalmatian Coast. My co-host today is Sylvia, who works with Abercrombie and Kent. I call them A&K for short, and they're my team in Europe. So it's over to you, Sylvia.
Ciao, Teresa, and ciao all our friends. So happy to be your, host for the day to show you Croatia and the Dalmatian coast. So let's start from, some helpful hints. From my point of view, when you decide to travel Europe, you should, keep an eye on about the logistics because sometimes things can be slightly tricky. So let's have a look here. You should decide in which airport you want to land. So the major one are in Zagreb, which is the capital of Croatia. You should, always remember to visit Zagreb. We will talk about it slightly later. Or Split, which is in, the real Dalmatian coast, or Dubrovnik. So let's say that the three main airports are here. Don't forget that, the flight is going to take almost 10, 11 hours. So it will be a long one. But some suggestion today. If we don't want to start straight away in Croatia, but we want to start in Slovenia, which is becoming more and more popular, my suggestion is, okay, let's land in Ljubljana, which is the capital of Slovenia. And our suggestion, if you want to have a couple of nights here, is the Hotel Continental Ljubljana, which is, in the city center. They have a lovely rooftop, so you can, chill out with a lovely drink. And you can see, there is this modern and contemporary style. Obviously, if you're looking for something more traditional, Teresa and us, we will help you. And now let's think about a combination about how to travel Slovenia and Croatia. So as I said, we can land in Ljubljana, have some, a visit on Lake Bled. You cannot skip the Lake Bled when traveling Slovenia. And then we can, continue on the Croatian part. So, on a week, we can manage part of this, of this trip. In Ljubljana, another, option, as I said, more, like, let's say, like classic style, is the Grand Hotel Union. And you can see these Liberty style palaces in the city center, okay? You can see from the map, which is very, very located straight away to the boulevard and the bars and the cafeterias. And the ballroom where you can have your breakfast in the morning with all the local delicacies. But what should we do and what you can do when you are in that city? If you are, somehow active, I would suggest to visit the Socha Valley, the Soca Valley, with some, visit slightly, soft hiking. We don't need to do that too hard. So let's combine a day out in the parks together with a rafting if you are more, into the adventure. Or if you are a foodie, what about, discovering the secrets behind, the honey? This area in Slovenia is very well known for, for being a honey producer. So you can discover all your secrets. But also this area, they're very famous for being chocolate producer. And one of the most appreciated area is Ratovlica. And from here you can have, chocolate tasting, chocolate demonstration. I mean, it's all about chocolate here. I'm a huge foodie, so I will never skip this option. But also, the lovely city of Radovlica, you can see this atmosphere in these areas. It's they are all these areas. You need to know that all these areas, they were part of the Austrian Austro-Hungaric Empire. Okay, so The architecture and the heritage is all about a combination of Austrian and Germans, and it's a very different from what you can see and and experience when you're traveling the southern part of Croatia. And this is the reason why I always suggest to make a combination of the inland, the Slovenia part, and the Dalmatian part. So these are my hints, okay? Lake Bled. Everyone wants to travel this area. And I mean, now I will tell you why. Think about, hiking around this lake or enjoying the activities like walking around the lake or having, a canoe and a boat tour on the lake. But also from there, you can easily visit the Postoinia caves. Those caves are, the largest in the area. So it's a karstic area. So it's plenty of lovely caves and lovely experiences. So if you want to discover the natural beauties about Slovenia, this is the right destination. But once you have been for 2 nights in Ljubljana and maybe 1 night on Lake Bled, we are ready to head to Croatia, so the northern part. And now we start from Zagreb, which is the capital of the city. And it's very different from Split and Dubrovnik. And this is the reason why I always say you really need to visit Zagreb, because the palaces, the churches there are very different from the atmosphere that you can find in Zadar and on the coast. I love the cathedral, and in this moment, the cathedral is under renovation. It's not under renovation, but you heard that a few years ago there's been an earthquake in Croatia, so they are, still rebuilding part of the cathedral. But one of my preferred place in the city is a San Markcher in the upper town. So you can easily reach with the funicular, the cable car, you can easily reach the upper town and you will fall in love with the San Mark Church. But also, in terms of insider access, so unique experiences, special experiences that Teresa and us are able to provide you, you could maybe think about having a private visit in crypt of a noble family. Also, we can also suggest you to have a private visit at the synagogue. So let's say that, there are a lot of things to do, but again, this area is perfect for, let's say, slightly active travelers. So think about having some bike tours on the mountains or visiting the castles. The castles in this part are amazing. They looks like traveling back on a fairy tale. So that's why I say you need to have at least one visit on a castle. Last but not least, visiting the Samobor area, famous for this cake you can see here, which is a paradise for foodie lover. It's a kind of like Italian millefoglio, and I'm a real foodie, so you need to trust me. Now, what's more? Additional areas. So what about, going to some wineries? Maybe maybe you don't know that, you're not aware, but this area is a great area to taste wines. And we will see later on also to visit, as I said, castle, and also to taste tartufi, truffles, and to enjoy truffle hunts. Okay. So this is a lovely place where to get a picnic together with a wine tasting. And now we are moving, we are slowly moving and changing areas, but one hotel I would suggest you when staying in Zagreb is the Hotel Esplanade. So it's a traditional property, a lovely one, very centrally located. And you can see it's, straight away the main area. And from here, you have great cafeterias and great restaurant. So you can easily also, enjoy your time by yourself. and have a look here. The furniture are very, very curated and together with the rooms. And obviously, once again, being back to the food part, you should really book one dinner at the Zinfandel restaurant, which is a lovely, lovely Michelin star restaurant in the hotel. Okay, so we can obviously, Teresa and Hans, we can assist you all the way through also with your own restaurant reservation. But you know, trust me if I tell you that you really need to have an experience here at least one night during your stay. And then after having experienced Zagreb for a couple of nights, we are heading to the coast. But my suggestion here is to stop on the Plivice Lake, which is an amazing, amazing national park. It's all about a waterfall, it's all about forest, and you can, let's say, decide to spend the night here. In this case, I would suggest you to ask Teresa to book you at the Hotel Phenomenon. Or maybe, you know, we can just have a couple of hours visit, 2-3 hours, and then continue to split. But honestly, I personally would suggest to have one night there if you are national park lover. And I can get the point that the national parks in Europe are not the national parks in United States, but trust me, you will fall in love with the Plivice Lakes. Now, let's move on the section about our Croatia itinerary. And you will back me with a sip of water. Okay, let's say that, what about if we want to combine Split and Dubrovnik? A lot of you are interested in Kvar. So we can suggest to have Split and Dubrovnik only, and we can, you know, easily keep it in a week. But if you have, you know, slightly more time, what about adding the highland of Kvar? You can see in my slide here, that's the one highlighted in yellow. And to also, you know, to have a couple of days there. I loved the island. I will tell you later why you really need to add Kvar in your, you know, itinerary. But in being back to Split, what you can do there? First, you need to enjoy the walking tour of the city. And you need, if you're traveling there during the summertime, you really need to have your sun cream, your hat, and comfortable shoes, because all the city is made by limestone and it can be very, very hot. But thanks God, when visiting the Diocletian Palace, and especially the underground, the walls are so large that you can have some cool and you know, a refresher while you are there. So this is one suggestion. Also, you know, the private visit at the synagogue is something unique that ANK is able to, to offer to Teresa. But one of my preferred spots, if you are an art lover, is the visit at the Mastrovich Gallery. This gallery is not in the city center, so you can, let's say, combine the visit to this area together with some small villages around the Mastrovich Gallery. But if you love, you know, statues and contemporary statues, that's a great visit. It lasts only 1 hour, so it is an easy one to manage. Okay, but in terms of you know, boat excursion, because I know that we always think about Croatia for the beauties of the city, but trust me, the water is so crystalline that you really need to have a boat excursion. You really want to jump into the water and visit the caves. I love the caves, and it's spectacular. You cannot, for example, you cannot have a food in there because it's protected by UNESCO. So we really need to preserve all these natural beauties in this area. Or in terms of like water sports, so let's call them this way, what about you know, paddling along the bay? I love when we can, enjoy these, these hours at the sunset or early in the morning when everything is quiet, when there are no noises, there are no crowds, and you feel the peace and you feel how quiet is the area. But, we can work on that together with Teresa to create the best itinerary for you. So just now, I'm moving to hotel suggestions. So three option we really love. One is Le Méridien Love, which is not in the city center of Split. So, and it's, literally on the sea. The other one, more classic, is the Hotel Park, and one of the, say, the new opening. Well, it already existed, but it has been completely renovated, is the Hotel Cornaro, which is right on downtown with a great rooftop. So that picture you can see there is one of my picture. Okay, and in terms of like, so we are leaving Split and we are moving to the south. And one of my suggestion is visiting Stone. If you are an oyster lover, you really need to stop here. Because, and why? The reason why is because you will find all the secrets about the oyster breeding, and you really want to taste fresh oyster. I need to tell you, before the experience, I wasn't a great oyster lover. And my husband every time was like, why don't you want to taste oysters? It was like, I don't like them. And then you need to tell me, I fall in love. I don't know if this, the crystalline water around me, the fact that everyone was explaining me how they, breed the oyster. But trust me, I love the experience and I love the lunch after the oyster tasting. So I really recommend to have a stop in Stone. So that's my suggestion. And then we are, moving to Dubrovnik and the Konavle area. So let's say that this, the Konavle is the wine region area for Ara, close to Dubrovnik. So I suggest always to combine Dubrovnik and the Konavle. And this is the reason why. You can find lovely vineyards in here. And if you don't want to, to be in a car on a day, you can have a bike tour together with a wine tasting. Obviously, you will taste the wine. You won't drink several bottles. So you will be able to bike also on the way back. If not, there will be always a car at your disposal. But once you are in Dubrovnik, I need to tell you, this is one of the city I love most in Croatia. Literally, I love it. The reason is because there are lovely squares. It has been also, the set for Game of Thrones, and this is the reason why we are still able to offer dedicated tour with one of the former actress of the of Game of Thrones. I mean, everyone now is talking about the other series related to Game of Thrones, and I think that it's an incredible city. It's an incredible city, and there are so many activities to discover during the days there. One, for example, is like kayaking along the Lockroom Island, which is, as you can see from the map, is not that far. Okay, so it's easy to enjoy these walls, in front of you while you are kayaking, and it's an impressive and a lovely experience. Or, having a day at leisure at your hotel. My suggestion is booking the Hotel Excelsior Dubrovnik. Is a real, great property, and the everything is amazing. The attention from the staff is great. The food is amazing. The breakfast room is incredible, overlooking the bay, and I found the balcony and the view from my balcony like priceless, honestly. So a few others picture in here. okay? And then we're moving to Kavar Island. And my suggestion, if you don't want to, you have two options to reach the island. One is we can enjoy and organize a boat excursion from Split to, or from Dubrovnik to Kvar, for example, and on a private boat. So you can have, you can visit the grottos, and then you can reach out Kvar. So you have your luggage with you, and you will disembark exactly on front, in this bay. You can see from the picture, or alternate, so you will be a few minutes away from your hotel. As an alternative option, you can take the ferry, and then you will be, privately transfer from the port, which is not in Kavar city, to, so from the port, which is in Kavar, but in another part of the island, you will take 1 hour driving to reach your hotel. So in the meantime, we can stop to enjoy some activities and experiences, and then you can reach out your property, your hotel. So it really depends on how many days you have at your disposal, and how and in which way you want to spend the day of the transfer from Split to Kavar city. But one of my preferred suggestion is to have a jeep safari in Kavar Highland, because it's full of lovely hills, not high mountains, but lovely hills with lovely vineyards. So we can combine, visiting the vineyards and enjoy the wine produced there, together with a jeep excursion, or visiting the villages, especially because maybe you're not aware, but Kavar is also an olive oil producer. And at the same time, it is also a lavender producer. So you have lovely lavender fields in Kavar Island. So we are also creating new experiences about the lavanda, the honey producer, and all the villages, keeping this a secret. In terms of moving on the hotel suggestion, I loved the palace. I love the Palace Elizabeth. It's the best option for you. It's literally overlooking the bay. It's in limestone. You can literally see how much attention they put in each details and in each room. So Palace Elizabeth is my number one suggestion, and I do believe that Teresa agree with me. And this is another picture of the property, and now you will see how lovely the rooms are. It's amazing. Let's move now from from Dubrovnik to the Montenegro area, stopping in, as I said, in Cavtat and the Konavle region. So let's say that during your trip, you can decide to have a route stop, or for example, you can decide to experience and to enjoy a kind of over the beaten path destination. So you can decide to stay in Cavtat, which is less crowded than other areas, and close by you can decide to have a private experience about the silk production, because the Konavle area, as I said, is very well known for being a wine producer, but also a silk producer. And trust me, you really want to have with you a piece of silk fabric from that area. Now we are moving to Montenegro. So few highlights. How to combine Montenegro with your trip in Croatia. I have a few suggestions. You can decide to have just a day tour from Dubrovnik, for example, and then we have some option. One of my preferred one is to have a boat excursion from Dubrovnik. So you can have a boat day and visit maybe Kotor and Perast with your boat, or you can decide to stay 2-3 nights in Montenegro. So we are now, considering how to approach and how to visit this lovely country. Let's start from the hotel suggestion. The hotel suggestion, our best choices are one and only in Porto Novo and Regent Porto Hotel. So from this map, you can see where they are. They are in the Bay of Kotor, but in two different areas. So the one and only is close to the border. The Regent Montenegro is farther, but the Regent Montenegro has, cafeterias close to the hotel, restaurants, and lovely shops. So you can also, stay one day at the hotel at, just relaxing and enjoying, but you can easily, get out for a coffee or to enjoy some shopping. While if you're stay at the Porto Novi, it's a huge resort, but then you really need to have a driver or a car at disposal if you want to get out the resort. Okay, so these are the major difference. If you are questioning yourself about the Amansveti, I'm so sorry that the Amansveti is still not open yet. We really have no idea when they are going to be back. And it is located in the city of Budva. So why we should consider or not, or you should decide to visit Montenegro on a day? If you're traveling during the peak season and you are, enjoy, or let's say we organize a car at disposal because you want to visit Kotor on a day, we really need to leave early in the morning because in peak season, you will be stopped at the border, okay? And considering there is only one main road from Dubrovnik to Kotor, you can easily be stuck in a traffic. So for this reason, I suggest to have a boat excursion from Dubrovnik or to go to Kotor and that area, but to stay there at least a couple of days. So you won't have the feeling about, oh my God, I've been stuck in here for hours and hours. Okay, so this is, the Bay of Kotor. Out of the slide, there is Dubrovnik. And you can see, Amansveti is in this area, but, it's closed. Now, sites like daily excursion, if you're staying in Budva or in Kotor or in Porto Novi, we have several options. I love being in Kotor itself and Parast, especially to visit the small island, the Old Lady of the Rocks. You can see the mountain right back of you and the whole bay in front of you. And trust me that the feeling and the vibe is unique. But if you are like, let's say, interested in finding out all the history behind the Second World War and into slightly hiking, we can combine the visit to, small villages like Nyeguzi or Lashtva and the National Museum. So it used to be, the one you can see here used to be a bunker during the war, and now it turned out to be a museum. So really, according to your interest, we can really decide to create, together with Teresa, everything you need. But one of my preferred place is this Lake Skadar, together with wine. When we are in Europe, especially in this area, you cannot skip a good glass of wine. So my suggestion is to visit the Lake Skadar together with, this lovely experience at the Mazanovic winery. Or something different if you're traveling with the kids, like the olive oil experience, because they will find the Dunkins, so they can meet these lovely small animals, and you can enjoy different activities during the same trip. So our idea, my suggestion together with Teresa, is to give you a full idea about what you can experience on the ground in each of these countries. This is not a, a full, comprehensive list of experiences, but these are my highlights. These are my suggestions. Okay, we are now moving to Istria. So we left. We started from Slovenia. We moved down to Croatia. We move even, down into Montenegro, and we are now back to Croatia with a few information about Istria. Istria is becoming more and more popular, and Istria is a peninsula on the Adriatic. In the past, it was part of the Italian country, okay? And, after the wars, it has been, moved under the Croatian nation, the Croatian state. But there are still a lot of, influence. Where you should sleep, where you should stay and go in Istria. Our preferred place here are the Meneghetti Wine Resort and the Kempinski Palace Port Rouge. In terms of villages, you should easily visit while there. One of my suggestions is Peran. And it's not far from Ljubljana, so you can also have a daily excursion from Slovenia, for example, and it is a kind of like small Venetia, for example, and it's very close to Port Rouge, so to the Kempinski, and it's lovely to stroll in these small villages. You can still see fishermen. You have the idea about being also in Italy, but you're not in Italy. It's a good combination. And, some picture from this lovely, lovely village. And then, one of my suggestion when stay in the Kempinski Port Rouge is to enjoy the Antica Distilleria. So a distillery. They are in this area, there are an interesting production of gin. So our suggestion is to combine, this visit. I want to show you also another picture about the area. So you can find all the secrets with the producer with the gin, and finding all the tasting, and together with that, you can enjoy a truffle experience at Karlik. I'm a huge truffle lover, so every time I can find some truffle opportunity, I always love to mention that. If you don't want to enjoy a truffle hunting with the dogs, which is lovely, especially for kids and teenagers, you can just enjoy a tasting and a lunch. So, all the products about the truffle. And, the last suggestion together with the truffle experience is the visit at the Tomasz winery. So this area is very easy to be reached. It really doesn't matter if you're staying at the Meneghetti or the Kempinski Port Rouge. You can easily visit all the whole area, because it's full of kind of hills, and this is the reason why you can find vineyards, so you can taste wines, you can find truffles, you can experience gin. So it's a great place where to stay for 2-3 nights. Another few other picture about the Tomasz winery, and I want to wrap up this information about and the introduction about the Istria area, talking about the Kvarner region. So the main cities of Opesha and Rijeka. Rijeka is the English way, the English name is river, because the Italian name is fiume. So Rijeka used to be an Italian city too. And as you can see from my picture here, they have lovely castle, lovely walls you can still visit, and a great view of the bay. So it's the culture is a real combination of the being under like a Slavian country, a Dalmatian country, being under the Italian nation. It's a real multi-country area. So really suggest you to visit it. This is Rijeka, the Tarstad Castle. And my last notes is about Opecia. Opecia, it's great for the garden. Those gardens and palaces really looks like the one you can find on Lake Como. So for this reason, I suggest, a stop in Opecia and a stop on Rijeka if you're visiting the northern part of Croatia. So the Istria and the Dalmatia part. That said, I really thank Teresa for having me today to explain you about everything about Croatia, Slovenia, and the Dalmatian areas. Hope you enjoyed.
Well, thank you, Sylvia. You did a fabulous job, and I feel like I've got like an immersion into the European Adriatic culture. And you've showcased a lot of places I've never heard of. And I've been in the travel industry for 44 years. So this was wonderful. And just to clarify, you're located in the European office for A&K, and the European office does not work with the consumer, the traveler. Is that correct?
It's absolutely correct. So this is the reason why I always say that your lovely travelers, they need to reach out to you because you will reach out to us to do the best job ever.
Exactly. So if anyone was inspired by this presentation of Croatia and the Dalmatian coast and beyond that, please reach out to me. My name is Teresa Belcher, founder of Honeymoon Islands, and I will leave my contact below this video. So until next time, if you can dream it, we will create it. Bye, Sylvia.
Bye, Teresa. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Okay.